This is Diane with Bolan-Beaty Boogie. I just wanted to give a brief history about how Marc and I began working together. When I was growing up as a child, I did see spirits in my room. And it wasn't until I got older that I understood that not everyone was able to do that. That not everyone was seeing the same spirits I was seeing. I basically slept with the covers over my head my whole childhood, because when I'd wake up in the middle of the night, there was usually somebody by my bed. So when I got older, I wanted to get more control over these sensitive abilities that I knew I had. And everyone's sensitive, everyone reads energy. But when you're ultra sensitive, it can get overwhelming because you've got beings and energies wanting to get your attention, to take up part of your space. And so I took a year-long clairvoyant training course. And basically I spent the whole year just looking at energy, looking at the energy in my space, how to get rid of what I didn't want. I also learned how to do healings and aura cleansings. And I took a lot of meditation courses. And so just to get kind of an idea about what I wanted to see in my own space and get everything out that wasn't my energy. And so that was really a pivotal change for me. And not long after that, I would just be standing around and I'd get this, listen to T-Rex, listen to T-Rex, listen to T-Rex. That went on for 2 weeks, listen to T-Rex. And I knew about the band T-Rex, but because I grew up in the States, I only knew the one song, Get It On, Bang a Gong. And I liked English music when I was growing up, but you really didn't hear much about T-Rex here. I had no idea who Marc Bolan was, no idea at all. And so that went on for a couple of weeks, and finally I was like, okay. And so I started listening to T-Rex, and I knew it was a male figure. I could see him because I grew up seeing images of Marc when I was growing up. I would always get this image of a young man with brown curly hair, and I knew he was British, very chiseled feature, cheeks, but I didn't know who that was. I just kept getting images of him. And so finally, when I saw Marc's photo for the first time, I'm like, oh, well, it was you all along. So Marc had been giving me signals throughout my whole life that we were going to work together eventually. So that's how we got started. That was probably 8 or 9 years ago now. And so it's been great working with Marc. I love doing the shows, and I hope we can do a lot more for you. On this week's show, it was so funny because Marc said he knew what he wanted to do on the show. And I was kind of like, oh, I had a lot of things to do this week, didn't give it much thought. And so once we actually did the show, he was like, well, I knew I was going to bring the council on, and I knew that you were going to see something, because you read so much, that was going to trigger something in you. And then I knew that that's what we could discuss. And that's exactly what happened. So I'll let Marc continue with what happens afterwards, but I also wanted to mention that we do have a website, www.channelingmarc.com. We've done interviews with celebrities, with historical figures. We've done astral travel. We've talked to interdimensionals on ships. So there's a lot of information if you're interested. Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's Marc. I'm here. I made it. Well, yeah, pretty easy today. Okay. Yeah, let's start with the show. Okay. Oh. Do I have to introduce myself again? Okay. Well, I'm this spirit who was Marc Bolan from the rock band T-Rex in the 1970s in England, okay? But I'm in spirit now, and I am channeling through Diane's body. Okay. Yeah. So I think we have a really exciting show today, okay? We're going to talk to, we were back and forth a little bit. Well, I wasn't back and forth. Diane was a little bit back and forth. Well, yeah, we knew the topic. I knew what was going to happen, but Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention I have a team with me here of spirits and interdimensionals, who yeah. Well, yeah. We bounce ideas off of each other, and yeah, and you bring up things that maybe I forgot. But yeah, we're gonna have a great show. Yeah, so let's bring, yeah, we're going to talk to, yeah, the Council of Nine. Okay, Diane wasn't sure if they were actually going to come through. And ask them some questions about, yeah, well, yeah, and then we're going to talk about who they are a little bit. Many of you are probably already familiar with them. And are there more? Okay, are there more? Which is one of the questions Diane wanted me to bring up. And she had a few things that she wanted to talk about as well, so I will bring those up as to them. Okay, yeah, let's bring them in. Yeah, we have talked to them before, but it has been a very, very, very long time. Okay, let's bring them in. If they're available, are they available? Are they available? Okay, okay, yeah, they're coming in. Okay, yeah, yeah, they're obviously a very, very, very high frequency energy. Okay, here they come. Here they come. Yeah, so if I'm going to describe, it's a very, or they are, okay, are they coming in collectively? A little bit. Some are coming in a little faster than others, and they're very, very a bright light, but not painful if I had eyes looking at them. It's a very clear light. It's gold. It's gold, yellowish gold, more gold. Very, yeah, even though they are, well, they are mega, what do you call them? A mega council or mega energy. It's very light. It's very, very light because they're at such a high frequency. Okay. Now, they're coming in. Now, I'm not at the point where I can, necessarily ask some questions. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Here they come. Okay. Yes. Hello. Yes. Thank you for coming on the show. Yeah. Council of Nine. Okay. Yes. You have quite a reputation before you, or about you. So we just want to talk to you a little bit about what is happening on the earth right now. And a few other questions. Okay. So yes, welcome to the show. And can I ask, are you going to be presenting as individuals or as a group? Okay, so they're saying it all depends. Okay, it all depends. In general, their answers will come from the group as a whole. But if one of the members has a particular voice that they would like to speak with, then they will go ahead and speak. Okay, and yes, I will be able to delineate which member that is. Okay, well, are we going to go into particular members? Yeah, no, we're not. Okay, yeah, there are. Oh, okay, and they're saying that many people may not know. Okay, they're supposedly, a Council of Nine, and they are, and throughout time, many have spoken about who they are and what their purpose is, what their function is, who do they represent. And yes, you do have the necklaces or the emblems of so they're so I'm getting pretty much like that. So back in Renaissance times, there would be groups of representatives of different functions. Let's say they were the stained glass, the guilds, something like that, where they're wearing an emblem that they're representing who they are. So if you look at it, you would know exactly what that was. Yeah, can you come? No, I'll come closer. So there are symbols on there, but if you didn't know what it was, it would just look like a symbol. Yeah, right. But they're saying, of course, whoever usually, So the meetings they would have, they would be known. Now, we're not really going to go necessarily into. We might go into some who you represent, and okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, do you represent groups, or are you of individuals, or groups of groups, or are you does this emblem represent who you are? Okay, or is it a little bit of both? Or what you stand for? Or what your job is? Okay, so they're saying it's a little bit of everything, actually. It's what their beliefs are. It's what they're actually, okay, yeah, and your area of expertise and what you would be responsible for. So it's a little bit, yeah, the symbols would have all of that on there. Right. Okay, yeah. Well, can we get some examples? Okay, yeah, and they're saying, yeah, depending on who you talk to. Okay, there could be, if you look them up, yeah, if you look them up anywhere, okay, there could be individuals or groups saying, okay, well, this one means this one means that, this one represents this, or yeah, and they're saying it's not always right. They're not always right, okay? And what many may not know is that they often can change members, okay? It's not static. It's not static. They can often change. And they said that's a misconception about who they are, okay? Because, and why would this be? Why would this be? And if it's not spoken about, why isn't it? They said, well, do they have control of that? They said they don't really like to bother actually taking control of what is said about them. They are who they are. They are representing what they want to represent, who they want to represent, and that can change. That can change. And it's based on what? It's not hierarchy. No, hierarchy. No. It's based on what the council votes on. Okay, so there could be more pertinent information or energies or things that need to be discussed, and yeah, and they're saying this makes it yeah, changeable, and they like that. No. They said no, they are not static. They are ever changing, ever evolving. Okay, and they also, yeah, and so that would mean, well, they say much like yeah, and they liken it to the earth, much like political administrations on the earth. Well, some of them change, and some of them, yeah, well, most of them change. It's getting less so, but most of them do change. And they have new members who have voice. Well, and they said, well, what? Yeah, of course, we could do the whole show just on what is going on in the political systems on Earth right now, and we have talked about that, but we're not going to get into that so much today. Okay, yeah, no, we're going to speak more of individuals, okay? So, yes, and how, let me ask you this, okay, so you're the Council of Nine, okay, and you have influence, obviously, influence. Can you talk about that, and what your influence might be? Okay. Yeah, and they're answering this as a whole. Okay, so yes, they do have influence. They do have influence over spirit realms, and at times over the planet, yeah, we're talking pretty much the Earth here. Okay, pretty much the Earth here. They said they do have influence with meeting with other. Yeah, I mean in general. So let's just say, does each planet have a council like this? And they're saying, yes, they do. Okay. If it's a physically, and yeah, if there's, well, it depends. Okay. Because planets themselves have energy, obviously, and they do have overseers, so to speak, each planet, each solar system. So it's for, yeah, it is for protection, but it is, yeah, and it is an overseeing group. It is an overseeing group, but because it's too precious, obviously, to not have some type of, and they're saying they're not a ruling council by any means, but they are a council, and things can be brought before them, and energies can change, and, well, of course, it's all done in realms that, you would have to tune into, and they are saying that they are open to that, okay? So it's not that they are necessarily secretive, because they are very, what the word everyone's using now, what, transparent, right? And they're saying, of course, there are things that are what I say, yeah, hush, right? There are things that, of course, are more secretive, but in general, their day-to-day work, their day-to-day function, or any meetings that they might have could be accessed by the general anyone, public or spirit world, universal councils. And they say they do a lot of meetings with other councils because, well, they're saying it's very, very, very important to speak, okay, to talk, to exchange ideas. And if somebody feels that something has been done that is what they feel unjust, then they have the right and the ability to come forward to them and say, hey, whatever was done here or whatever happened, I feel, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about themselves, it can be about somebody else, and then a judgment will be made. Well, yeah, and they're saying, of course, that's where the judicial system comes from, of course, for councils like these in spirit. And they are necessary. They're saying they are necessary, but they're saying they're not just there to dish out. Are you saying dish out? Yeah, there. Okay, well, that's what I'm interpreting at. Dish out, or do tribunals. No. So they're saying they're not, their main function is an overseeing, to basically, to right wrongs, not right wrongs necessarily, but to oversee that fairness, okay? They're saying kind of fairness is done, and that Earth and planets are protected, okay? And do you see yourself as some type of religious council? And they're saying they're spiritual. They are a spiritual council. Religion is something that is human-based, and that is not within their vocabulary, really. They say they understand the points of different religions and religions on the whole. And it's not like maybe, so they're saying many people might see them as a religious group, but they are actually a spiritual group. Well, they're saying they all have individual beliefs, and they bring everything that their experience, their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions to the table when they come to work. Okay. And there's they're saying, okay, and is this a full-time? Yeah, no, okay, yeah. So they're saying, they're trying to describe their role in this. They're saying they are on the council, but they do have independent lives outside of it. And, yeah. How are you? Okay. Yeah, we did. How are you chosen for? Okay. Yeah. They did mention that. Thank you. That the council decides its own members. Okay. And there is a governing board outside of the council as well. Okay. So they're not so they want to express that they are not, they might be 9 individual energies or spirits or interdimensionals, so they say it changes, okay, it changes, and but there is a vast network around them, okay. It's a very, very, very big production, they're saying, and it fluctuates, and so everyone will get their choice to possibly, if you are a very learned individual, or I'm just going to say individual or spirit, whatever you might be, and you want to come forth and present yourself as a possible member. Yes, you are going to have to be able to. Well, they will know who you are anyway, but yes, you are going to have a mega amount of experience, right, under your belt, so to speak, in order to come on this council, because that's what's needed, that's what's necessary. But you are also going to have to be liberal in your viewpoints, not liberal in your viewpoints necessarily, but open to a wide variety of different voices. Now, they're saying, of course, they're going to maybe have their individual ideas and thoughts about things, but when something is presented to you, it is not, no, and they're saying it is not deemed worthy to bring your own necessarily strong thoughts into it. So they're saying if you have a bias towards something, and in general, energy at this high frequency is not really going to have strong biases that aren't founded in injustice. No. So they're saying that once you're at the level that they are at, it's not, any type of personal, they're saying even though they might have that, they are too, they're just saying they don't really bring that into their work. And you're saying, they're saying you might not believe that based on what's happening now on the earth, but it is possible. It is possible. They're saying, of course, not maybe, 99.9% of the time, that is what they strive for. Okay, that is what they strive for. And they have so much practice and abilities with them that it is not very difficult. And they're saying there are checks and balances, of course. There are checks and balances. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Okay, that's a little bit who you are and what you do. Okay, but I want to talk to you a little bit about what's happening on the earth right now, because that is, of course, important to our viewers and to ourselves as well, Diane and myself. Okay, so Diane wanted me to bring up, she saw something about, and she'll explain that. Okay, but enter an introduction. Right. Okay, so an individual on earth, let's just start there. Let's say you're a spirit in a human body on earth. Okay, how much control do you have over your life or the world around you? Okay, that's just the question. Okay, we talk about this a lot on the show, but let's hear it from you guys. Okay, okay, so they're saying, what we've said, of course, many times, that's up to you. That's up to you. Okay. So they're pointing out, and this is something that they want to bring up, and we have said on the show as well. Okay, you are only as powerful as your beliefs, of your beliefs, of your So it's pretty much down to what you believe. Okay, because your beliefs will is who you are. So if you think that you're a person without control over your own life, or you don't make, you're unimportant to what happens around you, or that might be the energy, or that will be the energy. If that is your strong belief, that will be the energy that will surround you, and then your energy will adapt. Okay, energy adapts to what it is. So it is going to be very difficult to be an empowered individual or spirit if all your energy, if all your beliefs are saying otherwise. I mean, it would be impossible. It would be impossible. So yes, please remember they're saying that energy. So energy is what? No. Hold on. No, it's a better term. Hold on. So energy, not fluctuates, but energy resonates at the frequency that it's at. Right. So, So that's very, very important. Okay. So if you are sitting there thinking, I feel powerless, I feel like nobody. So that's what your energy is vibrating at. That's the word. So that's the energy that you are vibrating at. So how is that energy ever going to change? Right. No. It is what it is. Okay. Now let's say, and only you have the power to change that. Right. Okay. So how much counsel like yourself? Okay. Let's say, how much influence do you have over the planet as a whole? Okay. They're saying that they have a bit. Okay. And I think they're being a little bit modest here. But yes, there are council that wants the highest good for everyone. Okay. And they do protect the planet. They do protect the planet, believe it or not, they are saying. They do protect the planet from outside or in forces that would necessarily want to harm it. And you're thinking, oh, well, they're not doing enough, right? They're not doing enough. But there's also a fine line, okay? Because there is an agreement that spirits come down to the earth in human bodies. And you are given the chance to govern yourself, okay? You're given the opportunity to govern yourself. So unless it's something catastrophic that is needlessly done, they're going to try not to step forward and do anything, okay? Yeah, they're showing like biting their teeth at this moment because they see a lot that is happening, obviously, on the planet that they would like to dissuade. But again, there is an agreement between them and human life that they will not interfere unless it is something catastrophic. Now, they're saying that they have done things in the past, many of which are unexplainable to the human species because they don't have that knowledge. They don't have that knowledge to perceive what has been happening. And they say they probably have saved the human race more often than not. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, so that, does that contradict what you just said? No, they're saying, oh, yeah, yeah, they're saying, no, they're saying they're not. They're saying that they have done things to help save the human race, but in general, they do not like and will not interfere with governing bodies, so to speak. Yeah, and they're saying, yeah, I'm asking, yeah, I would like to ask you, okay, what point does something need to get to? Okay, and they're saying it has to actually get pretty drastic, and they are concerned about several spots on the planet right now for seeing, yeah, what is happening, and judging whether or not if interference is necessary. Okay, and they say that this is hard for them to say because it is disheartening for them. Actually, it is disheartening that so much strife and so many deaths, needless deaths, are happening on the planet right now. So it is so it is something that they are taking of every second of every day, if there were time. Right. It is a deep challenge for them. Deep to not get involved where they feel that they might necessarily like to. Right. But again, there is this very, very strong agreement that they do not like to cross, that humans are given the opportunity to govern themselves and make whatever decisions they make. Right. So, and they said a part of this too is based on the fact that that is how, believe it or not, the planet will raise its vibration. Okay, believe it or not, because a lot has to be challenged in order for that to happen. Right. And all of us, well, not me, but all of the human beings on the planet have to decide what is going to be good for them or not good for them. Right. And that's the only way planets can evolve. That's the only way races can evolve, or species can evolve, is that via trial and error. Okay, and and they're saying some are wiped out, some planets are wiped out, some countries are wiped out, some systems are wiped out because of destruction that they have not either stopped or agreed upon. Right. So they're saying, yeah, many places on the earth right now are in perilous situations. Okay, and well, yeah, I mean, it's true. Okay, and it's up to those involved to do something about it or not. Right. And okay, yeah. Is there anything else? What? Oh, yeah. Would you like to say anything? They said that's pretty much what they wanted to say to everyone on the earth. Okay, it's up to us. It's up to us to decide. Yeah. So they're saying, yes, each individual should be taking responsibility for their own lives, obviously, and those around them. Okay, so they're saying that. And we've talked about this on the show, okay? If you're an individual who feels not empowered to do anything, or you feel like your voice cannot be heard, that is definitely up to you. But they're saying you don't have to go on a pulpit necessarily to bring about change in your life or around you, okay? You can do it with your inner strength, okay? You can do it by just challenging ideas, okay? You don't even have to go out of your house, they're saying. You can just challenge ideas and think about it for yourself. Think about what is being presented to you. Okay, take some time. They're saying take some time. It's your responsibility, really, for being who you are. You decided to be a spirit. You decided to be human. You're a spirit who decided to be human, and that is part of your responsibility. Now, you can just say, well, I don't care. It doesn't pertain to me. I'm just going to be me, and yeah. And they said that's fine too. But yeah, well, but yeah. Can you define that but? Okay. Well, they're saying that's your judgment. That's your judgment. In general, though, you did come down to be part of the human experience, right? You can decide to do whatever you want. But they're saying if you were sitting there thinking or saying to yourself, I have no power, I am powerless to do anything about my life, about my situation, about anything around me, then they said that might be contrary to why you came down there. Okay, that might be. Okay, it might not, but it might be contrary. So if you're sitting there, and just ask yourself, how is my situation going to get better if that is my viewpoint, right? So they're just saying, think about it. You were given a brain, you were given thoughts, you were given power, you were given the ability to change your mind, to change your thoughts, to change your energy, to interact with those around you, and to be open to what they might have to say, right? So they're saying you've been given all this power, and it's up to you whether or not you want to use it, right? It's up to you whether or not you want to use it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that message. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, they're heading off. They're heading off. Thank you very much. They said they have a meeting, believe it or not. Yeah. They have a meeting to get to. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So as Mark, I just want to say, yeah, it might be tough right now to hear this from every angle that you might be listening to a lot of these type of podcasts are, podcast or groups or spirits talking right now, okay? And you might be hearing the same thing over again, okay? It's kind of, it might sound like, oh, well, step up and all this stuff, but it is important right now. It is important, okay? So that's why we keep bringing up your power, your ability to change things around you, and never let that go, because it's there. Now, whether you use it or not, like we're saying, it's up to you, but it's there if you would like to use it, okay? And now is a very challenging time, so that's why we keep bringing it up, right? Yep. I'm just thinking back to when I was Marc in the 60s and the 70s, and it was a much different place. It was a much different place. I'm not saying that things weren't, there wasn't destruction. Of course there was, but there was a power of the individual emerging. Okay, the power, the 60s obviously, the power of the individual emerging that said that, I can speak out and say what I want. And that many individuals were tired of being told they didn't have any power. Right. And we're not saying the power necessarily of overpowering another. No. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the power to speak for yourself, to say what you want to say. And you guys are saying, well, many places you can't do that, right? Many places don't allow you to do that, right? And unfortunately, that is true. That is very, very true. And we're seeing it happen more and more. And that's why it's so important to speak up now. That's why and like we're saying, it might just be in your individual thoughts, right? It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to write an essay or you have to promote it on YouTube or something like this, okay? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that within yourself, this is how you feel. This is how you feel empowered about yourself. Now, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. So when you start thinking about this, when you start maybe changing your viewpoint, saying, well, you know what? I do have some strong feelings about what's happening to me, about what's happening around me. Maybe I don't like my job. Maybe I don't like the company I work for. Maybe I've been sitting in that space for too long and I need to make a change. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Is that wouldn't normally use that expression, but there you go, right? Make that change, okay? Make that change. So that's what, yeah. You might think that that doesn't make a lot of change in the universe, but it may, okay? So it's steps like that. And then eventually you might get to the point where you say, okay, well, you know what? I feel confident enough to take this out and maybe talk to a friend about what I'm feeling about things, right? And so, as the council said, when things are discussed, when ideas are transferred from one place to another, that's what evolves planets. That's what changes worlds, okay? And so it is important to do. And yeah, that's important. You are where you are, okay? So yeah, necessarily it doesn't help to think about, well, if I was this or this or this or this, I could do it a lot easier. Okay, that might be a goal for you, but if you think that, you won't probably move very fast. Right, because you are where you are. Okay, so yeah. What? Yeah, they're just saying, oh, I have to close down. Okay, I have to close down the show soon. But I want to thank the Council of Nine for coming. Yeah, we could spend a lot of time talking with them about what they do and about what they see. But yeah, they had to go. Okay, yeah. So everyone, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Go out there, challenge yourself, pick a new goal, change the vibe that you're in if you want. You just never know. A new vibe that you pick might really be really groovy for you. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone. This is Marc signing off.